Greetings, y'all. Welcome to Karen Holmes 15 Minutes of Solid Inspiration, y'all. This here is a YouTube channel where hope grows inspiration. Thank y'all for being here tonight. So, we're here on the channel again tonight or this evening or this afternoon, this morning, whenever you're watching the video, to announce today's most recent episode of my inspirational podcast, Karen Hope's 15 Minutes of Solid Inspiration. We're here to announce that it has been produced and published and is available for listening down in the podcast platform links down below in the description box, y'all. Now, y'all, you can see it there on the Spotify link, but there's also Breaker podcast link, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, some other things too, y'all. So it's not only available on Spotify, check them out on any of those podcast platform links if you have those apps. Okay? But if you do have the Spotify link, I should mention this now. If y'all are interested in becoming a monthly subscriber or a monthly supporter of the podcast, just click right there on the Spotify link. And there is a support button that you can click there and follow the links. I thank you in advance. So moving along, y'all, today's episode was about, something that we all need to do on a daily basis, and that's effectively communicate. And what I mean about effective communication is like this. Honestly, excuse me, as gently and as kindly as we can, do you know what I mean? And as clearly as possible, not in a chaotic way, just take our time and be careful to communicate what we're doing. And sometimes, y'all, we have to remember there's nonverbal communication is what I mean. We don't always have to talk. We can tell someone to get away from us without a word. Or we can tell someone that they're welcomed without a word. Welcome their space without a word. So that's what I mean. We just have to be very, very careful. Now, the point that I really touched on was this one. How we can be so focused on someone else being the one bringing an argument to the table when they really may not be the problem. And I just talked about how we need to think about that and check ourselves. We all need to check ourselves in this aspect. We can be getting ready to go somewhere. We're about to have a conversation, y'all. You know how it goes, and we kind of like, how we have the conversation in the mirror. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like we're going back and forth, like in our head, like trying to work out the conversation before we get there, and it's still negative. There's still an argument, and that person's not even there. We're not even there yet. We don't know how that person's feeling. We don't know if they're coming with roses. We don't know if they're coming with an apology. We don't know if they're coming with flat out, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? We don't know, but we're going back and forth. And what we do is we actually, without that person being there, we go back and forth, actually take away the fairness of it all. Don't even give them the chance to be, not non-combative. We don't even give them the chance because in our mind, we've already created a scenario where they're just a jerk or they're just going to come with an argument when it's us. We created the whole thing. We create that energy, and more than likely there will be an argument because we've already talked ourselves into one for like 30 minutes, an hour, for 3 days, however long we were just thinking about going to the place or to the people to meet. You know what I'm talking about. We all need to work on that. Anyway, so moving forward, y'all, we're going to wrap this video up with a pretty little bow, okay? We're going to talk about something really quickly. We'll talk about, let's see. Well, I was going to talk about, it's a little bit too close to the podcast. It's like saying the same thing over. Okay. Oh, we'll talk about this. Did y'all just see that light bulb? You witnessed it. It was caught on YouTube. Oh, God. The struggle. Well, no, you know what? It's really not a struggle because God provides everything, even his little thoughts. Okay, but moving forward. Comparison. When we're comparing ourselves to people, it's not necessary. Let me take some weight off of your shoulders right now. Okay? Like a lot of weight. You can just relax in this. For real. We are uniquely and wonderfully made. Why? Because we have our own job to do. No one else can do it but us. When we are created to do something. Whatever our calling is, okay, we have to reach it. We have to find it through trial and error. We trip and fall. Some of us don't, or some of them don't. But I mean, sometimes, we see some examples of people who get it right very early. Some people that don't, but they do get it right. Oh, God is good. That's the whole deal right there. It's all part of the journey, and that is what the journey is. Everybody's got their own path, own story, own road to walk or run or skip or whatever. And then along the way, we meet with people who are meant to be with us on the road, forever or temporarily, but they're meant to be there, and that's just how it is. But we don't have to compare ourselves to anyone because we're in our own category. But the way the world is and ego is and pride is, it kind of gets in our way, and we start to feel like we need to compare ourselves to people, y'all. Now, what I'm about to do is say, there's a surface reason why we shouldn't compare ourselves to people, but there's a real deep and damaging reason. Damaging and destructive. Oh my goodness, if we don't pay attention. Going back, comparison, we're in our own category. Like there's no one who can do what we do divinely. That is our job. So when we start to take our calling away from what we're doing, we start to feel like we get scattered, and we need to compare ourselves to someone else's calling. That's never going to work. We're never going to succeed at comparing ourselves to someone else's calling. We'll feel disappointed every time, and that's when we start to knock ourselves down and start to consider ourselves failures. But the only time we fail is when we quit. So, if we never quit in our calling, we move forward in our purpose, there's no reason ever to compare ourselves to anyone. We only need to compare ourselves to who we were yesterday and the day before to get better. What I mean better is a little bit more skilled at whatever we're doing, and a little bit more solid, and a little bit more stable, and a little bit more confident, a little bit more faithful. Asking for a little bit more God every day in it. That's what I mean. So when we're comparing ourselves to people, we're forgetting about that part. So what does that mean? That means we're not operating from a place of gratitude, and gratitude is the only way that we can keep our eyes on God. Gratitude is keeping our eyes on God, thanking Him for who we are right now, like who we are, what we have right now. There's no better feeling. There's no better feeling because there's no pressing feeling of, having to compare yourself to someone else when you're confident in what God is having you do. That's why we should never take God out of our like what we're doing. Okay, so yes, there is something that we must do. If we have a calling to do it, if we have a calling to be an accountant, if we have a calling to be these things, yes, do these things, be the best at them, but don't forget to take your calling out of what you're doing. And your calling is to give God glory at all times, wherever we are. And it's not to be walking around preaching. I'm not a preacher, don't want to be one either. But I do want to tell people how I stay encouraged and motivated, and it's with God. God drives me forward. He drives everyone forward. And when we believe Him, we can be driven forward with just a little bit more confidence and a little bit more reason not to compare ourselves to anyone and just go forward in our purpose. Keeping our eyes on God keeps us grateful for who we are right now, in the moment, what we have in the moment as we move forward. every moment and every moment and every moment moving forward, being just as grateful for what we have that moment. We are unable to do that and operating from a place of comparison, y'all. And we already know what happens when we're not grateful people. When we are ungrateful in any way, shape, form, or fashion, in that moment, it may seem as if it's okay, but there is a consequence to ungratefulness. And it's not nice, and it doesn't feel good. And I can't say exactly what it is because it's different for each person, depending on how God has blessed you. All I know is a blessing is big, whether small or, big in your mind. It could be just like, I don't know, a blessing. Someone could give you $2 for bus fare, or someone could get you to work, or you'll lose your job and you have 11 kids to support, or someone gives you $1 million. I don't know what to say. Either way, excuse me, I got to turn the phone off. Either way, it is what it is, and a blessing is a blessing, and all of them are gifts from God, and something that was right on time.
According to Bible Ref, James chapter 1 verse 17,
Did you hear that?
Every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shifting shadow.
Huh. Go figure. Google just went on ahead and closed the video for us. I love it, y'all. That's it for the video. Thank you for being here, y'all. Okay, so, like I said earlier, that tickles me. If you are currently supporting the podcast, thank you so much for your solid support. It blesses me. And if you are considering becoming a supporter of the podcast, thank you in advance. Okay, just go ahead and click on that anchor link and follow the prompts on the support button. Y'all take a few listens to a lot of the episodes. Remember, we have 194, and when I jump on the video here in a few days, we'll have 195. Okay, and if you've made it this far, by the way, to this part of the video, thank you. Thank you so much. I love that energy, y'all. It's a great exchange of energy. Y'all are really blessing me. And also here in YouTube land, because I'm telling you, these people in YouTube land are serious about these videos. You have to get some that clicking time on there. Excuse me, that's my wind chimes. You have to get some view times. They look at how long people watch the video. If you just look at it 30 seconds, and you have a 28-minute video, they'll say, ding, they only looked at it 30 seconds. Oh, yeah, they tell you. So, y'all, help me get some good reports from the YouTube people. More wind chimes, y'all. See, they're saying too. Push the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, y'all, so you don't miss a moment of inspiration. Okay, y'all, thank you so much for being here today, tonight, this morning, whatever time you're watching the video. And I will see you again here in a few days to continue exchanging some more awesome energy. Y'all, God bless you and yours. See you soon.